What's going on, guys? Today I'm not really doing a lot of cool whiz bang stuff. I'm just out mowing grass. But we're going to take a look at a place we've been working on, taking back over from the jungle. And we're going to talk a little bit about soil CECs. So strap in. This is going to be a good one. What's going on, guys? It's Master Horticulturalist and YouTube superstar Paul Outlaw here. I got like 15 subscribers. You can't mess with me. It's just exciting for the people at home, I'm sure. Nobody watches this crap anyway.
Everybody, please go subscribe to Paul's Prime Cuts on YouTube. He's getting up there on the subscriber count. And, Paul has these little hidden gems if you've never seen his videos. One, he is absolutely hilarious. He's incredibly funny. And two, he knows exactly what he's doing.
What the heck is going on, guys? We're here at this little commercial place today. This is a little dry cleaners. 2 years ago, this building had been abandoned for a long time, actually. But the grass was no lie 6 feet high, just weeds and stuff. Been, working on it, trying to stay within budget constraints. But last year we just tried to get where we could get it mowed down, and I think I might have sprayed some 2,4-D on it or something just to get some of the broadleaf stuff in check to start with, staying in budget. But this year we worked on it a little more. Still hadn't got to fertilize it as much as I wanted, but I sprayed it with Celsius probably 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, and you can see those brown patches where the Celsius worked on some of that crabgrass. I'll show you a close-up on some of it in a second. But I think I've only fertilized it once, and I did that with some I can't remember what I put on it. I got some we'll get it one more time though with some fertilizer when I put the pre-emergent on it, and I'm still working out of Leonard there, so I can't carry all my stuff with me at one time, so I don't have my sprayer with me right now. But when I do put the pre-emergent out, I've got some pretty, what I call my sweet liquid fertilizer. It's got some ammoniacal nitrogen and sea kelp in it. But this place has come a long way, and if we can probably next year, when we start getting pretty regular with some fertilizer on it, we'll really have this popping out. But hey man, it's just a dry cleaner. It ain't got to be perfect. This ain't the Taj Mahal, folks. I'll show you some dead crabgrass. There you go. You can see the crabgrass is pretty much beat up. There's some coming back right there. Right there, there's some Bermuda grass trying to poke out of it. Right now the Bermuda grass is slowing down a little bit. It's been really hot, so you would think of it as Bermuda grass growing weather. But it's been dry too. It hasn't rained hardly much at all in the last 2 or 3 weeks. But also the daylight is slipping away. Here we are at the first part of September, so the days are getting shorter. So the Bermuda is going into its carbohydrate storage mode, and it's not getting as much sunshine to push that growth as it usually does. But anyway, on to the next victim. Okay, on your soil test, you'll get something on there called a soil CEC. You might ask yourself, well, what is that and why is that important to what I'm doing with my turf grass? Well, it's one of the more important things on the soil test because it'll let you know the holding capacity of your soil. Basically, the soil cation exchange capacity is just the amount of holding capacity your soil will have for nutrients and water and things like that. So anything with a low CEC, like below 10, is usually classified as a sandy soil, and 10 to 20 is a medium soil, and 20 and above is usually a heavier soil. Sometimes we'll even see in some of these areas that have a lot of peat or organic matter in the ground, like basically reclaimed swampland. I do have a place that has one of about 33. So what's important about knowing the CEC number? Well, the most important thing is it'll let you know how much nitrogen your soil can hold. And what would be bad is if you put too much nitrogen on your soil, more than it could hold, plant can't use it, you've wasted money, and you've hurt the environment, because the nitrogen is going to leach off and it could get into the water, that kind of things. So the future of our business kind of depends on everybody paying attention to these soil CEC numbers and not over applying nitrogen. So I'll give you a little ratio of how much nitrogen to soil CEC number you can use. So hold on. Usually what you can do is take your soil CEC reading number and multiply it by 10, and that's how many pounds of actual nitrogen per acre you can put out and the plants can still use according to your soil CEC number. For example, if you had a soil CEC of 10, you would multiply that by 10 is 100, you get 100 pounds of acre of actual nitrogen on your ground. If any of you watched the video where I explained how to read your fertilizer bag and know how much nitrogen is in it, you can go back to that one and sort through all my nonsense and maybe you can figure it out. But the first number on your fertilizer bag, for example, a bag of 10, 10, 10, the first number is how much nitrogen in it. So 10% of your 50-pound bag of fertilizer is nitrogen. I'm in eastern North Carolina and we run up with some sandy soils as well. And so you're going to want to try to increase your soil CEC in soil like that. How do you do that, you ask? Well, the best way is to add organic matter. And everybody's on the humic acid craze, so squirting humic acid is a great way to increase your soil CECs. You could add compost. You could, humic acid we said, but the new thing that's going to be coming down the pipe is Carbonex. You could put Carbonex out. Adding the carbon will definitely increase your CECs, and the Carbonex is going to have a buttload of organic matter in it. So I'm looking forward to that one. That one's going to be a complete game changer. What's so sexy about that stuff is the more you use it, the better you're going to improve your soil health. And that really is the name of the game if you're going to want to grow good turf grass and be a good steward for the environment, is improve your soil health. The great English philosopher G. Michaels must have been singing about the Cation Exchange process when he had his great song where he said, you got to give, you got to give, you got to give for what you take, because that's what it's all about. The soil has an electrical charge, and it's going to hold on to those nutrients, the particles of the nutrients. And the plant is going to produce hydrogen molecules. The plant will give up a certain amount of hydrogen molecules for each nutrient. Some nutrients, like potassium, only have a number of 1. So they're going to go a 1-to-1 exchange, hydrogen for potassium. So the plant will uptake potassium relatively easily. That's why you'll see me pumping a lot of potassium to my turf grass, because I've humic acided this ground to death, and I got my CECs up, and so our soil's pretty healthy, and I need that potassium in the plant to regulate the water flow system in it. So that plant's eating a lot of potassium on that 1-to-1 exchange when I've got my soil CECs right. Something like iron, on the other hand, is going to have to take 4 hydrogen molecules with it for the plant to take 1 molecule of iron. So if you got poor soil CECs, you're not going to get that color from that iron. You can throw iron on it and throw iron on it and you don't see a reaction. Usually that's because of your soil CECs are off and your pH, but the plant can't take it up. But the best way to improve, like I said, these soil CECs is with organic matter, humic acid, and Carbonex. Yeah, the other thing on the soil test that's generally overlooked is base saturation. And what base saturation is, it's going to be, oh geez, I should have wrote this down. It's going to be the ratios of 5 different nutrients in the ground. It's calcium, magnesium, boron, sodium, and hydrogen, I think. Yeah, you might want to look that one up. But, you know, what they'll tell you is that you have to have the proper ratios of each one of those nutrients together to make the soil function properly. And a lot of times too, if you find that you've got hydrogen in the soil, your pH is probably low. So probably time to adjust with some lime. Okay, I guess the major takeaway from this is that it's important to get that soil test, because there's no way that you're going to be able to look at the ground and know what your pH is, what your soil CEC is, what your base saturation is. These are all really useful tools if you want to push your turf grass to the next level. And everybody, we need to know, how much nitrogen your plant can use. You don't want to put more nitrogen in the soil than your plant's going to use and cause leaching, because what's eventually going to happen is the government is going to stop you from putting nitrogen on the grass, or restrict your usage. It's already happened in plenty of places. So be a good steward, get your soil test, don't over apply based on what your soil CECs are. And again, like I said, what we usually can do is we know we can go 10 times our soil CEC number on nitrogen. But what I generally do is, hold on, my thing's messing up here. But what I generally do is try to spread these applications out. So say, where it's possible, if I know that my soil can hold, I don't know, say 100 pounds an acre, so that would mean I'd have a CEC of 10. I would stretch these out into 2 50-pound apps, or even in a different range. But anyway, the idea is not to apply more nitrogen than the soil can use at one time. All right, guys, don't forget about the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. At this rate, and if I keep making videos this crappy, we might have 1,000 subscribers by this time next year. Oh well. Well, anyway, y'all hit that like button, subscribe. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time. This is some Steven Spielberg level camera. Got a mouthful of dip, I can't talk. All right. And I can't even find it in here now, so it must not be that earth shaking.